Hey people, we're back for the late show. Hold on, I want to show you something before we get started.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay, so we are. Okay, so we are. You're seeing this tornado here right now. That's just off to the. Okay, I got to check my location. I'm sorry, northwest of Prescott. So we're a little ways north of Prescott. In front of you here, folks. I think we're probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 miles straight north of town. So Lake Icaria would be just off to the west and southwest. That's the tornado right now. It's going to kind of pass by us just to the north and west. It can't be more than maybe a mile or two away. So this is northern Adams County, kind of north central Adams County. That's the tornado you're seeing on the ground, folks. It's a pretty violent looking one. It's not fully condensed to the ground at all times. You see, it's kind of grungy looking. You can sort of see through it at times, but it is definitely a circulation all the way to the ground. There's some rain wrapping around it a little bit. We still have winds blowing into the storm right now. So we're looking basically straight west off of what county road are we on here? Let me check my location quick. Okay, we're on County Road N61, or Quincy Avenue would be what it would be called. We are about 4 or 5 miles straight north of Prescott.
So I'll stop it there. There was a massive tornado that went through Greenfield earlier today. I was just looking at some of the damage before we jumped on, and this was before I'm pretty sure it hit the bigger town. This was further south. This thing just turned into a monster. I've seen some video from Reed Timmer, and you could just see these massive internal vortices of this tornado just spinning around. I haven't seen anything like that since maybe El Reno. El Reno had giant internal vortices like that danced around the main circulation. Um, Flower Child said Mother Nature is something else at times. Well, it's not just that. Hold on. Let me grab you the other update, and then we'll get on to true crime. But this is a late show. We sort of do a bit of everything. Hold on. There was an update out of the county saying that apparently they had to evacuate their hospital too. I'm just trying to find the update. Yeah, here.
And you heard all of that information here a short time ago from a press conference from Sergeant Alex Dinkla with the Iowa State Patrol. Like you heard earlier in the show, photojournalist Robbie Reisman and I came into Greenfield from the east earlier this afternoon. One of the first places we saw was the hospital on the east side of town. Damaged quite a bit, windows blown out. There was a smell of natural gas in the air, propane, and we saw plenty of damage around town. A lot of those folks in the hospital had to be evacuated after the tornado went through. We also spoke to some area residents who were just horrified by what they experienced as this tornado tore through Greenfield.
What was it like driving in here?
Horrible. You don't know what you're coming upon. I know that some of my friends were hurt and I couldn't get a hold of them. I was scared.
It's devastating. I've lived here all my life. I'm just praying that everybody was safe. Everybody's safe and nobody got hurt.
We're live now outside of Greenfield. There is a curfew in place tonight for the town, so anyone who's not a resident of Greenfield will not be allowed in for the overnight hours. As you heard earlier, a deadly tornado that struck this Adair County town overnight.
Yeah, like he said, they've also put a curfew in place and a barrier around the town. If you try to get in and you don't have a driver's license that has a home address within the town, they're not going to let you in. Pretty bad out there. I saw some Doppler on wheels radar data that said this particular storm lofted debris over 40,000 feet into the atmosphere, which only like 1% of all tornadoes do. So they're thinking this could be an EF4 or higher. It's pretty bad. It's going to be a long recovery for these people. Someone asked, where is it? It's in Iowa. So it's Adair County. Greenfield, Iowa. So there you go. There's your little update of severe weather. Pretty bad. Never want to see that. Pretty when they go through a field. It also destroyed a bunch of wind turbines, but go to Reed Timmer and watch his channel for that. He has the video of it, and you can see them just all topple over, go down. All right, let's actually get to some true crime. There's your update for tornadoes, but I hope everyone's okay, including just before we get off it, I saw a result today from the National Weather Service in Oklahoma has declared a record-breaking tornado season in 2024, even with numbers and tornado season not coming to an end yet. They're saying it is the highest average since April 2012, which was when the super outbreak. So no, that was 2011. That's a year later, but yeah, same year, same 12 months. But yeah, pretty bad. All right. Hope everyone is okay out there. We have friends in Iowa. I hope they're doing okay. Hope no tornadoes went through your town today. And let's get to some true crime. So there's a court case going on, well, a sentencing down here. Pretty brutal. Killer.
Now, from Molly
Hey,
Tyson.
I'm talking. You're not talking. It says here, killer bodybuilder jailed over frenzied knife murder of his partner Monique. A Melbourne man has been handed a lengthy sentence for the horrific murder of his partner, in which he used 6 knives to stab and slash her to death. He just went mental on her. There was also a child in the home at the time who tried to protect her mother and say, hey, you know, don't hurt my mom and things like that. And he still went and got another knife and continued stabbing her, even though there was a child in the way. Really, really awful. It says here, Lindemann had previously pleaded guilty to the murder of what's her first name? Monique. She was 39 years old, as well as recklessly injuring her 10-year-old daughter. She'd been given the pseudonym Lily during the court hearing, who was found covered in her mother's blood after intervening in the horrific attack. Had he not entered into a plea, they would have sentenced him to 37 years in jail. On May 30, 2023, the Melbourne man stabbed his ex-partner 17 times on her head, neck, and chest in their Endeavour Hills house in Melbourne's southeast, with the attack occurring in the days after Monique attempted to end their 5-year relationship. So here's a photo of this roided up murderer. Here you go. They said while he ducked the maximum penalty of a life sentence, Justice Elizabeth Hollingworth said he had committed a brutal and frenzied attack, adding that domestic violence was not a less serious category of murder because of the pre-existing relationship. She said it was sheer luck Lily was not seriously injured, and said Lindemann failed in his duty as a stepfather to protect Lily and her twin brother from harm by subjecting them to the terrifying ordeal. Justice Hollingworth said he had committed a rational act which was motivated by jealousy and unwillingness to allow your partner to move on with her life. Yeah, he was screaming weird stuff like, you ruined my life. If you assume someone has ruined your life by breaking up with you, then they're not the problem, you are, because your mental thinking is broken. That's not how it should work. Your partner adds to you. It isn't supposed to be the whole of you. That's how it's supposed to work. So this guy was already had a warped, way of thinking. She noted hypocrisy and a sense of entitlement that caused him to become enraged at the thought of Monique might choose to leave you and start a relationship with someone she'd recently met. This is despite the fact that he had previously cheated on his ex-wife. So he's a cheater, but he doesn't want his wife cheating. Double standards. Says here, however, Justice Hollingworth accepted there was no evidence his attack was premeditated, and she accepted it was a relatively spontaneous act. There's a photo of them both. He looks like something out of a video game. It says here, daughter's bravery praised. Graphic details were revealed in previous hearings, which detailed how Lily saw her mother dragged from the bedroom to the kitchen after the knife broke from the attacker. So he broke the first knife he tried to kill her with. In total, Lindemann used 6 knives in the attack, inflicted 7 stab wounds and 10 slashing wounds on Monique, with Lily sustaining 5 wounds in the attack as well. So not only did the mother just detail horrific, brutal, knife wounds, so did her daughter who tried to protect her. I mean, it's the worst of the worst. It really is. The court was told Lily managed to disarm him twice before she called 000, with the attack unfolding while Lily's twin brother was in a nearby room. On Wednesday, the justice also noted Lily's bravery and commended her attempts to save her mum. Hopefully, as she grows up, Lily will come to understand that there was nothing more she could have done to save her mother, who would have been so very proud of her courage and determination. That's right. Her mum will be very proud. So there's a photo of the woman who was attacked and killed. So Lindemann ordered to stop crocodile tears. So yeah, apparently in court, he was wailing in the dock. So he was sitting there crying, and the judge was like, "You need to stop that because we haven't seen an ounce of remorse from you in like 2 years. You're only really doing it now to try and grab sympathy from me." And she was like, "I ain't buying it. So please stop and let us all go about our court business in peace." Yeah, she was really unimpressed with him. Um, they said here, prior to adjourning the case for sentencing earlier this month, Justice Hollingworth said he had committed a terrible act a day after seething. After a day of seething, okay. He was so angry he dragged her through the house. He grabbed 6 different knives and was able to break 2 of them in the process. That must take an incredible amount of, you know, hitting bone to be able to break 2 knives on a woman. He was not deterred by a 10-year-old girl trying to stop him. He was out of control, ferocious, and determined to kill her. Justice Hollingworth also admonished the bodybuilder for wailing in court, demanding he stop the crocodile tears. "It's not remotely persuasive. It's a bit late for him to pretend he's remorseful," she said. "The evidence is completely to the contrary. He still maintains she ruined his life. He doesn't accept that he killed her and ruined his own life." Very clever judge. A great way of using her words to bring him down a peg or two. Yeah, he kept saying stuff like, "Oh, she ruined my life." Like, no, you did all this yourself. This is all your own handiwork. It's, ain't no one here to blame but you. And the fact that you think everyone around you is to blame shows your inept way of thinking and just not being able to process anything. I mean, they should do an IQ test on him, really. I like this quote that she put up. I'm going to put it on the screen. He doesn't accept that he killed her and ruined his own life. Right. We can only take the actions of the person, which is what he did. She didn't do anything wrong. It's not a crime to leave a boyfriend or a partner. It's not a crime. The crime is murder here. So she didn't do anything. It's all your fault. So that's good. He'll go to jail. Apparently, he'll be 77 by the time he is released from jail. He's currently 52. Uh, yeah, goodbye and good luck in jail. Have fun. There you go. Come on, do some more pouty lips at the camera. Do it like you look like one of those girls on a night out. Why are you doing all this pouty lip stuff? Okay, there you go. And there's well, we don't show him, we'll show her. There's the victim. All right, there you go. There's the update for that. Glad that sentencing is done for that one. That was brutal hearing how the daughter tried to save her own mother, and she was 10 years old at the time. Tried to stand between this brute and the mum while he had a knife, meaning she sustained injuries in the rampage attack against her. So she's a very brave girl. 10-year-old daughter. 10, and she knew more than he did. He's 52, and she knew more about decency than a 52-year-old. It tells you a lot. Laura Gray, yeah. Laura, good to see you. Yeah. Laura is here. Hey, Laura. Diane Marie says, I like this judge. Yeah, I like judges who don't let people off the hook with their fake crying and please give me a lighter sentence because I'm an idiot. Yeah. You do the crime, you do the time. Jury finds you guilty, smack him with the highest sentence you can find. That's what I think. So there we go. Look at him, Mr. Pouty Lips. That's what we should call him. That's what we should, in prison, that should be his nickname. Anyone who's going to be in the same prison with this guy, call him that. Call him Mr. Pouty Lips and just carry around this photo if he asks. Go, why do you call me that? And then produce this photo and be like, that's why we call you that name. All right, let's get to some Americano true crime. I got some more for you. Hold on. How'd you guys all have fun with Trish? Was it good? Who was on tonight? I didn't even see. I had a break. I was off trying to relax for an hour before we came back here. This is interesting. If I can find a link for you, hold on.
The mother of missing Cornelius girl Madalena Kojikari admits she failed to report the disappearance until more than 2 weeks after Madalena was last seen in public. And now, more than a year later, there is still no sign of this girl. Thank you for being with us for the news at 5. I'm Vanessa Rufus.
I'm Colin Mayfield. It has been 546 days since Madalena Kojikari was last seen getting off this school bus on November 21st, 2022. It wasn't until nearly 3 weeks later that Diana Kojikari and Madalena's stepfather, Christopher Palmer, reported her missing.
Police arrested them 2 days later for not reporting that disappearance sooner. And after a series of court appearances, Diana Kojikari was last expected to show up in court in February. But we told you then that she didn't appear. And that leads us to the developments we just mentioned today.
Yeah, Jesse Pierre is on the story tonight with what happens next year, Jesse.
Yes, well, Colin, Vanessa, Diana Kojikari could be released from jail as of today. She went into court today and changed her plea from not guilty to guilty. Now, she was facing a felony charge for failing to report her daughter's disappearance in a timely manner to police. Now, Diana has already reached her max serving jail time, so she can again be released at any time. Now, meanwhile, Madalena's stepfather, Christopher Palmer, was expected to be in court today for the first day of his trial. However, his trial was postponed. Palmer's attorney says they need more time to go over newly submitted evidence by the state. Court records note that Diana had been in contact with another family member. Some of those records also show that Diana says she was in danger and that she and Madalena needed to get away to a safe place or flee the country. Records show that Diana said she had enough funds to live for 2 to 3 months and had been sending large sums of money out of the country. Court records also note several items were seized by search warrants, and those were not provided to the defense. This includes results of search and examinations of Diana and Palmer's cars and GPS data, both of their phone records and calls in jail, just to name a few. The defense says it needs to get those evidence. It needs to get the time to process all of this evidence as well. Now, both parents maintain they do not know where Madalena is. Palmer was released from jail last August with an ankle monitor after his bond was lowered to $25,000.
I know he did a good amount of time in jail prior to being released. So if he was to get the max sentence, if he found guilty, judge gave him the max, whatever time he gets, whatever he's already done will be subtracted from that.
Now, it's important to note that Diana is not an American citizen. So after now pleading guilty to this felony charge, she is facing deportation as well. Live in Uptown, Jesse Pierre, WCN.
So this has been going on for a while. We actually did this, I don't know, it must have been ages ago. November last year, October, there was stuff going on. But this is the other link. They said the mother of Madalena, who was last seen when she was just 11 years old on November 21st, 2022, has pleaded guilty to failing to report her missing. Seems like the smallest charge they could have got, right? They said Diane and Christopher are both charged with failing to report her missing. Kojikari pleaded guilty to the charge on Monday, and Christopher pleaded not guilty and has been out on bond since August 2023. Here's a photo of Madalena right there. According to authorities, Kojikari and Christopher did not report their daughter missing until 3 weeks after she was last seen on camera getting off her school bus. That's that video you saw in the last video we played. Authorities said the couple only reported her missing when school officials started asking questions and contacted the police. The two were arrested 2 days later when they were interviewed by Cornelius Police Department. Neither provided information as to where Madalena was, according to authorities. When investigators searched the couple's home for items including bodily fluids, hair, and chemicals that could be used for cleaning blood, 25 items were removed. According to warrants, Kojikari asked a family member to smuggle her and her daughter away from their home. A relative claimed that Kojikari said she was in a bad relationship with Christopher and wanted a divorce. Well, that doesn't account for your daughter being missing. Since Madalena was last seen, there have been community vigils, 2 birthday celebrations, and yellow ribbons, posters, and billboards all displayed in the hopes of tips would come in leading to find Madalena. Every day, we're just a little bit closer to finding her than the day before, according to Cornelius Police Chief. They say this has been a long and grueling investigation over 16 months. As the pieces of the puzzle come together, I do feel like we will find her. They said anyone with information on her disappearance can call these numbers, which I'll put on the screen. By the way, I did see Puzzle Pieces did subscribe. Thank you. I saw it in my email before we went live. Also, a person called Jilly Poppy were the two I got emails about before we went on this afternoon. Thank you. I appreciate it. We are trying very desperately to get to that 1,000 subscribers. That would be amazing. Let me see if this one's got a bit more about the day she went missing. What a horrible case, right? Like, there's only 2 people who might know where, your daughter is. It's probably you and your partner. That's it. She didn't get abducted by aliens. The government didn't come in black vehicles and take her. Bigfoot didn't come out of the bush and try and steal her. It's you two. That's it. You're the guardians of her. You got to know where she is, right? Let's play this one.
Breaking news, Diana Kojikari has pleaded guilty for failing to report her daughter Madalena missing. The Cornelius girl has been missing since November 2022.
And Diana has been in jail since her arrest. She had a second arraignment today after refusing to show up for court back in February. Police tell us that Diana and her husband, Christopher Palmer, waited 3 weeks after their daughter went missing to officially file a missing persons report. Now, police have said neither has offered any information about where Madalena is right now. Our Caroline Hicks was in the courtroom today for Diana's latest appearance. Caroline, we also learned that Diana could now be deported, right?
That's exactly right. We got quite a few new details today in court, but this is a day that many have waited for after Diana Kojikari failed to appear. She refused to appear for her arraignment that was scheduled back in February. Today, she faced a judge and she did plead guilty to failing to report the disappearance of her daughter, Madalena, who was just 11 years old when she was last seen. We also learned she will be released today because she has already served the maximum time that goes along with this charge. Now, today in court, cameras were not allowed, but this is footage from the last time she was in court last summer. The judge read Diana her rights today and accepted her plea. Prosecutors also sharing details about what led up to this point, saying counselors at Bailey Middle School contacted law enforcement after they asked the parents to bring Madalena to school, and they arrived without her. That was on December 15th. Diana and her husband, Christopher Palmer, then admitted they had not seen her since the evening of November 22nd and did not know where she was. We briefly spoke with the Cornelius police chief after the arraignment today.
We're just thankful this part of the investigation is behind us and the search for Madalena continues. And as I've said many times before, we won't stop until we find her. So thank you, guys.
I think we'll leave it there. Where do you go here? You still don't have the little girl. They've now, at least one of them, the mother, has been released from custody. And you're no closer to answers than you were 2 years ago. So it's not a good situation. I don't think anyone should be celebrating a guilty plea in this, considering she's just going to get released from jail. Yeah, pretty bad actually. Apparently, they were both held originally on bonds of around $250,000, but her partner's bond, Christopher, was lowered to $25,000, and he was released last August. Although the mother, Kojikari, who pleaded guilty today but will be released, her bail remained at $250,000. That's why she's been in jail for the whole time. But I don't have anything else about her. Yeah, it looks like that's it. They're just going to keep. So they apparently the father, or the father will go on trial. His trial was expected to begin on Monday, but it was postponed until Tuesday, while his attorney argues that the state has failed to disclose key evidence. He previously pleaded not guilty. Court filings indicate that Madalena's school records will be introduced at the trial, and a computer forensic expert with the FBI is set to testify. The filings also summarize an interview conducted with the FBI with an FBI language specialist with Kojikari's cousin. In that interview, Kojikari reportedly told the cousin she was in danger from a third party, not her partner, and that she and her daughter needed to get to a safe place. The defense said it only received that summary in the last week. So this could be an interesting trial if you're into that type of thing. We'll see. Right. Well, you wouldn't wait weeks to be like, hey, my daughter just never came home. She's a young girl, but that's what young kids do. They just don't come home for a while. I don't know about that. Kim says, sounds like Lori Vallow. It's a little bit, almost sounds like Letitia, right? Letitia was like, oh, he's definitely out there somewhere. I saw him. You saw him when you shot and stabbed him and then put him in your car and drove him to Florida. That's how you saw him. You didn't see him like leave the house. I remember that day when it was the neighbor's security camera that got released, and she's like, "Oh, he'll definitely be on the camera." There's no one on the camera. It was like no one ever left her property except for her and her vehicle or whatever. They knew like that day. It was like, that's it. She's done. She's cooked. Yeah. They either know where she is, what happened to her, or who has her. It's one of those three, and I can't work out if the mother is covering for someone. Or she really did send the daughter away somewhere. I don't know. I think she's probably dead, but need more proof. Lori Vallow. Diana Kojikari has family in Moldova, so she might be from there. They said she's not a US citizen, which anytime you're charged with a serious enough crime, you face the risk of deportation after you are released. So she may get a visit from from ICE, maybe. We'll see. Angela says, my niece is 11. If she didn't come home from school, everyone would be looking for her within no time at all. Yeah, it wouldn't be like, so on Thursday we had pizza, she wasn't here. On Friday I cooked spaghetti, but she didn't show up. That was like 4 weeks ago, but I haven't seen her in a while. It's a child. You should know where it is every second of the day. It's bloody ridiculous. I mean, you know, she does have a history of taking fake children that are already dead. So, you know, I wouldn't put it past Zanny the nanny. I mean, she's done it before. She's been in Florida. She, you know, apparently kidnapped a child that was already deceased. I mean, you just never know. Hey AJ, how are you? We do two shows every night. Uh Monday to Thursday, we do an early show and a late show. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we just do one show. So there you go. Now you know the timetable. All right, shall we get another one? That's the Kojikari case is very interesting, and the trial hopefully should act like a coroner's court, and we should get a lot more information about what they think happened to that little girl. I hope so, anyway. All right. All right, my friends. Let's get some more stories for your faces. I promise, no more dirty jokes. We did that in the first show. All right, hold on. 1 second, people. All right, here we go. Hopefully this will play.
Been a new twist in the case of missing New South Wales toddler William Tyrrell. Police have sought an apprehended violence order against the boy's foster parents. The pair, who can't be identified, have never been discounted as persons of interest in William's disappearance. It comes as investigators begin a new search on the state's mid-north coast for the 3-year-old's remains. Police are concentrating on 3 locations.
That's the wrong video. That's an old video. We're looking for the new video. Why is it playing it out of order? See if it plays the correct one this time. Yeah, no, it's not going to. See, this is why Australian news is terrible.
Good morning. We begin with the explosive developments in the William Tyrrell case, the toddler who went missing on the New South Wales North Coast in 2014. Police now recommending the woman, who was his foster mother at the time, be charged over his disappearance.
All right. No, they're not going to play the correct one that I actually had the link for. No, that is an old video. They have now delayed that. They will not push for charges at this point in time. They've actually asked the DPP to back off on reviewing their brief of evidence. So they said, can we wait until after the coroner's hearing in November and December to make a decision on that brief of evidence against the foster mother? And I was hoping to show you a video about the police talking about it. Forson's mum, is he the one in the... Yes. Yes, he is the little boy in the Spider-Man suit. I think you can probably see it. There you go. There's a photo of him. Yeah, unfortunately. Been missing 10 years, about 10 years now, went missing in 2014. Police have come out in court a couple of times and said, we believe he died accidentally and that the foster mother and possibly her mother covered up the death because they knew how it would look, them being, you know, people who adopt children. Oh my God, they died on my watch. That type of thing. It's pretty bad. Bye, AJ. See you later. It's quite late, I know. So yeah, today they've asked the DPP to stand down, which is an interesting thing to tell them to, hey, just wait 6 months again. So every time in this case, it gets pushed back and pushed back, and another 6 months and another 9 months, and waiting for another review. And seems like every time we get one step forward, we get about 50 steps back in this particular one. Let me see if I can find the one from today. I thought that was the link for it, but either they moved the video when I saved it last night, or they've deleted it for some reason. Let me double check. No. Okay, they must be a mistake in it, because it looks like they've pulled the video. That's okay. I can show you the one from the Daily Telegraph, though. William Terrell investigation plunges into black hole after police backflip. Yep. So the case against William Terrell's foster mother and allegations she was involved in his disappearance have faltered after New South Wales police asked the DPP to suspend their review of evidence against her. That can't be a good thing. That can't be like they're confident in their information. Sorry about that. I had to cough. It says here, detectives working on New South Wales' most high-profile murder investigation last year recommended prosecutors charge the 58-year-old woman with interfering with a corpse and perverting the course of justice, alleging she covered up the accidental death in 2014. The police theory is that Williams suffered fatal injuries when he fell from the veranda of the Kendall home on the state's mid-north coast in 2014, and that his mother buried his body in bushland nearby. That, if that is true, they didn't look in the right spot. About 2 years ago, they spent hundreds of thousands of dollars going back to that area, and I think they spent like two weeks or 2 months digging up everywhere surrounding that property, looking for William's remains. That's how confident they were that he was nearby and buried in the ground. They like forensically went through everything they could find, and from what I understand, the things that they actually found have been tested inconclusive. So they didn't exactly find any child remains or bones, anything that may have belonged to William. No smoking gun, as people say. They said a brief of evidence against the boy's mother was given to the DPP in August for advice on the strength of it and to confirm that there were reasonable prospects of conviction. But the case took a twist this week when police withdrew their request and instead asked the DPP to cease looking at it until after the inquest sits at the end of the year. It would be interesting to know what their motivation for that is. The New South Wales Police Force asked that this office suspend its consideration of their request for advice in the matter until after the conclusion of the next tranche of inquest hearings in November and December 2024. Sources close to the investigation said detectives were keen to see what new evidence the inquest uncovers. I think, you've already had everyone in a bunch of different court hearings over the last 5 years. If you haven't dug it up by now, I don't think it's just magically going to appear at the inquest in November. I mean, it might, but I wouldn't be placing my career on the line over it. Says here, however, the about face by police could leave the long-running inquest, which has been going on since 2019, in limbo. At the most recent directions hearing, the Deputy State Coroner, Harriet Graham, said the court needed clarity on the potential criminal charges before it could resume. She said, I can't really proceed until that issue is finalized. So how is that issue going to be finalized if now they've told the DPP, hey, we'll see you after November and December, when the coroner told them, hey, we want certainty and finalization on any potential charges of any potential suspect before we continue. I don't understand how that works. And I wonder if the coroner is going to be fairly unhappy with New South Wales Police for jerking her around over the last, 12 months. I don't think she's going to be very impressed with New South Wales Police over this. William, then 3, vanished from the front yard of his foster grandmother's home on September 12, 2014. No one has ever been charged, and the boy's foster mother denies any involvement in his disappearance. A new team of detectives from Strike Force Rosin spent weeks re-examining the area in late 2021, including spraying luminol, a chemical which shows traces of blood around the grandmother's house. They must not have found very much. A riding school in the area was also searched, where police suspected William may have been buried, but nothing has been found. In the days after his disappearance, the boy's foster mother told investigators she drove down Barter Creek Road looking for William, then stopped at the riding school to let a car behind her pass. She said, "I get to the riding school and I just think he's not here," she told police in a recorded interview. The boy's foster mother and father are expected to give evidence at the inquest in December, and that's it. If you want to watch a really interesting video, some of what she told police is online in a recorded video, and it is highly interesting. It is a good case study of listening to people. Laura says, if it was truly an accident, why not call the police? Why bury him in the woods? Maybe because they were like adoptive parents, and having a dead child on their books might, bring suspicion or, other things. I don't know. No idea. Why do people kill people? Why do people murder women and dump them in Hessian sacks on Long Island? Who knows? I'm not a murderer, I can't tell you. Sean says, sorry, had to leave last show for an appointment. A back appointment? Oh, no, you're just back. Okay. Yeah, so very sad story. We're talking about how to make the perfect pizza, Sean. Are you able to tell us how? Because we've been struggling to find the perfect pasta sauce for the base. You're going to have to let us know because, I can't do the show without you, okay? Looks better than what it is now. Okay. All right, let's keep going. I have more stories for you. I think we had a missing child update. Let me check. Let me double check. Nope, that's not the right one. Hold on, people. All right. Hey, get out of here. Woman found slain on Inglenook front porch, likely dead for days before Birmingham police were called. That is very scary, right? A woman was found slain on the front porch of a Inglenook home. The discovery was made about 2 p.m. Tuesday in the 4400 block of 44th Avenue North. A nearby resident spotted the woman unresponsive on the porch and called 911. East Precinct officers and Birmingham Fire and Rescue Service responded, and the woman was pronounced dead. They said, our officers observed signs of trauma on the victim that led us to believe this is a homicide investigation. The Jefferson County Coroner's Office will perform an autopsy to determine the cause of death of the woman. Authorities have not said when they believe the killing happened, but said the victim could have been on the porch for a couple of days. How is there someone lying on a porch and everyone's just like, oh yeah, she's been there for 24 hours. That's all right. She always does that. It seems a bit odd. It took 2 days for someone to notice that, hey, I went to bed last night and I woke up this morning and she's still there. Maybe I should call someone. Seems like a long time. He said, this did not just happen. We do not think this was a random incident. We think it's isolated. They love that word, isolated, or they like targeted. Isolated and targeted. They said, we think it's isolated, and our detectives are working to get the person responsible for this into custody. Okay. Do you know who that is? Says Fitzgerald said he wasn't yet sure if the woman lived at the home where she was found. People do live in the house, but he couldn't speculate on why the resident had either not seen the dead woman on the porch or called 911. He said, "That is an interesting side to this story, and our detectives has asked to hold off on that." What? He said, "This is an interesting side to the story, and our detectives has asked to hold off on that information." Okay. What do you mean it's interesting? If it's interesting, why didn't you tell us? There you go. This is an interesting side to the story, and our detectives has asked to hold off on it. Huh. Werribee? Ain't nobody live in Werribee. It's a ghost town. No, there's heaps of people over there. Nope, I don't live in Werribee. The woman is the city's fourth homicide in just the last several days. They said the message to the community is simple. We need your help more than ever. We've seen great success when the community becomes involved in homicide cases. Yes, they often do. So the cops are telling you, go out there, commit homicide, become involved. No, not us. No, sorry. They mean help them solve homicide cases. Right. I got it. They said the mayor of the town said it's best we as a community have to stop giving safe harbor to violent offenders. When someone's victimized, they usually continue to victimize. So we have to get these individuals who are responsible for violence off the streets. The woman is Birmingham's 52nd homicide this year. Of those, 5 have been ruled justifiable and therefore aren't deemed criminal. In all of Jefferson County, there has been 75 homicides, including the 52 in Birmingham. Anyone with additional information is asked to call the detectives and Crime Stoppers. I'll put that number on the screen. Thank you, YouTube. YouTube has rejected your comment. This usually means that they think it's spam. Try changing it a bit. Thanks, YouTube. This is my channel. I'll do what I like. That is annoying. I don't know why apparently Crime Stoppers is considered spam, but okay. Let's see if it does this. All right, there we go. There's one. And what about this one? It might have been because I had the word homicide in the message. They were like, no homicide. Yep, it's the word homicide. I just tried to post it again and it said, nope. Let me take the word homicide out. And it's fine now. YouTube. It probably explains why I'm shadow banned, because I keep using words like murder and homicide, and they're like, "Oh, that ping, we can't give him any viewers." I'm about to view the number you posted. Okay. Please do. All right. Well, that is very sad. But I do want to know the information they have about the owner or resident of the property and why that is so interesting to detectives and why they won't tell us. That is an odd thing for them to say that, oh, this is an interesting thing, but we can't tell you. It's very strange. All right. Let's see what else we got. What about a missing South Carolina? Nah, she was located. We don't have to do that. All right. I think we got another one we can do. Okay. Miss Amy D. I can do your one instead if you want me to. I know where you want me to do this one. Parole delayed for former LA police detective convicted of killing her ex-boyfriend's wife in 1986. Yeah, she got parole recently, right? And now it's been delayed. Apparently, a chance for parole was delayed this week for a former Los Angeles police detective serving as 27 years to life in the cold case slaying of her ex-boyfriend's wife in 1986. Stephanie Lazarus was convicted in 2012 of killing Sherry. Is it Sherry Rasmussen, a 29-year-old nurse who was bludgeoned and shot to death in the condo she shared with her husband of 3 months? Ah, man. A select committee of the state's border parole hearings determined in November that she was eligible for parole. The full board took up her case on Monday and later voted to order a rescission hearing, referring the case to a lower panel to consider whether to rescind the earlier recommendation. Basically, we don't want to be the ones to make the call on it, and we're going to handball it to another department. We want them to deal with it. It says here, actually, I'll get you a better one. This one's not very good. Let's get a better source for this. Let's see if ABC 27 will give it. Nope. Hold on.
A former LAPD detective convicted of murdering her former boyfriend's wife in 1986 today lost her bid to be released on parole. The state parole board ordering a new hearing on Stephanie Lazarus's efforts to be released from prison. Governor Gavin Newsom expressing concerns about her parole. This after the victim's family members objected to a parole board's earlier recommendation for her release. Lazarus earlier confessed to murdering her ex-lover's new wife, Sherry Rasmussen, in Van Nuys. A new hearing is expected to be scheduled within 4 months.
You know, that was interesting. There was a video about to play after that said Matthew Perry's death investigation is still continuing almost a year after his death. Very interesting that it is still open. Apparently, they're trying to find the guy who gave him the ketamine. Why? What is that going to achieve? Sir, we've come to arrest you for murder? No, sir, we've just come to arrest you for ketamine supply. You probably got it from a mate or something. Puzzle Pieces said they've got to keep her locked up. It took over 20 years to catch her. Right. Now, how about you just sit here for another 20 years and then we'll have another look at it. Well, for now, she's still in jail, so where the world is a less dangerous place for now. Yeah, it is a good thing. I don't think she deserves to be released. I mean, you can look at her facial expressions here. Let's see if I can find them. In this bit here, she just looks like she's got the crazy eyes. Look at this. What is this? Who talks like this? She literally looks like she's having some sort of exorcist, exorcism. And all she's trying to do is give police very basic information. That's right. You have to be broken to be here. Yeah, don't let her out. I don't think the families want her to be released either. So I think most people are in agreement that she should not get out. Hold on. Let's see if we can get a background one on her. They're all like YouTube channels. We can't use them because it's like, even people are like, you can use, like Grizzly's videos. I'm like, no, you can't. If I use her video, she has every right to copyright strike me. Every right. Any kind of original content that she has done, she has every right to strike my channel. So, we try to use news sources for most of it because they're less likely to come and get us. All right. Actually, we have this from ABC News. If you've never seen it, this might be interesting.
law, and it's unclear which side of it the suspect in this case is on. She was a 26-year veteran of the Los Angeles Police Department. By all appearances, a model cop, yet Stephanie Lazarus now faces murder charges. Prosecutors say that almost 25 years ago, she beat and shot the wife of an ex-boyfriend, and that DNA evidence proves it. David Wright reports.
It's a scene straight out of a cop drama. The setting, an interrogation room in the bowels of LAPD headquarters.
John's wife being
The suspect doesn't yet know she's a suspect. She thinks she's being consulted on an art case.
Do you know John Rutten?
John Rutten? John Rutten?
Rutten.
Oh, yeah, I went to school with him.
But Stephanie Lazarus, herself a decorated police officer, is now on the hot seat.
Was there ever any relationship or anything that developed between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we dated, you know, I mean, what's this all about?
What it's all about is a cold case dating back nearly 25 years. The murder of John Rutten's wife.
Do you remember the first name?
Shelley, Sherry, I don't know, something.
Sherry Ray Rasmussen, a 29-year-old newlywed, beaten and gunned down in her own home.
Sherry was bludgeoned and then shot several times at close range in the chest by rounds that almost all of which would have been fatal immediately.
I really thought that was Tom Selleck for a second. I was like, oh my God, it's Tom. Look at that mustache. It's brilliant. But it's not. It's a cop. You know, I like in the interrogation tapes where she's like, oh, her name was Susan, Sherry, you know, Shiraz. Oh, I don't know. It's a great way to tell when people are lying, because they tend to throw names around. First they'll use a fake name, then they'll use the real name, then they use another fake name and try and act like it was random. And she sort of did that in her interrogation. Yeah, it is Tom Selleck, right? What a glorious mustache. All right, let's listen to the rest of it.
But not before fighting for her life against her killer, who police at the time assumed was a male burglar who was never apprehended. All these years later, the LAPD was able to take a fresh look at this cold case because of DNA evidence the murderer left at the crime scene.
It was some fluids that were connected to a bite mark.
DNA testing revealed the saliva from that bite mark belonged to a woman. Family members had long suspected the ex-girlfriend of the victim's husband.
Nels and Loretta Rasmussen went to the LAPD and told them about the fact that this LAPD officer, John's ex-girlfriend, had shown up where Sherry worked.
The ex-girlfriend was police officer Stephanie Lazarus.
The police at the end told Nels Rasmussen, "You're watching too much TV."
Had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or? Or what she did for a living, or where she worked, or anything about her?
Well, I think I'm going to say that I think she was a nurse.
Sherry Ray Rasmussen was a nurse at Glendale Adventist Medical Center. On February 24th, 1986, she called in sick, never to be heard from again.
I don't understand why you're talking about some guy I dated a million years ago.
Well, do you know what happened to his wife?
Yeah, I know she got killed.
You think about a crime that occurred in 1986, and now in 2010, you're being confronted, completely out of left field.
Criminologist Brad Garrett says the videotaped interview suggests Lazarus has something to hide.
Do you know what the circumstances were regarding her death?
Geez, let me think back.
Her anxiety is just off the chart.
What's with the crazy facial expressions, right? Like, it's like a way of releasing stress or something. She just looks like, what is this?
Do you know what the
I'll pause it. What is this? And then she goes a bit crazy. Like, what is this? Are you having a fit? It's almost like what it is. Are you having a seizure, ma'am? She has not been released. They've denied it for now. Like a million years ago, that's right. AJ says, one day I may call in and ask you 27 questions. 27,000 questions? Maybe. We did that one time with Video Reel a couple of weeks ago. Video Reel called in and it was an interesting show. I like Video Reel. Yeah, she lying. She got the crazy eyes. She got the crazy face. Definitely. All right, let's go to forward a little bit. Look, there you go. What a great screen capture. Who can naturally do that with their face? I don't think I could. I don't think I have the muscle memory.
Well, I remember when I
After
was
first
in
denying ever speaking with Sherry Ray Rasmussen, Lazarus starts to backpedal, admitting she may have confronted her at the Glendale hospital.
Oh yeah, no, there was not. I don't think there was anything. If the conversation lasted a few minutes, I can't even remember. And what is it like? We went out to lunch or anything.
The subject matter would have been memorable. The man they had in common.
From what you're telling me is when you guys met at the hospital, you guys talked, but it wasn't, from what you recall, confrontational from either side?
I mean, I'm trying to, turn my memory back, and I'm trying. I can't even picture the conversation.
I think it's chilling. This is the interview that should have been done back in 1986 by the LAPD.
Did you ever fight with her?
You mean like we fought?
Yeah. Did you ever duke it out with her?
It's very like overly expressive or like overly, dramatic and just odd. It's just, they ask her, did you have a fight with her? And she's like, play boxing and stuff. Like, it's very strange behavior. Yes, I try and not be funny on this live stream, but sometimes I can't help it. Rootin' tootin' what? I don't know what you're talking about, Potter. You haven't had breakfast. It's 4 o'clock. What time is it? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You need to have your breakfast already. Yeah, that's right. You need to have breakfast already, Potter. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Yeah, protest too much. All right, there's a couple more minutes, then we'll get out of it.
No, I don't think so. I mean,
You'd remember that, right? That would be pretty.
yeah, I would think so. I mean,
At this point, you don't have to be a veteran detective like Lazarus is to get the drift.
they're saying, okay, I fought with her, so I must have killed her. I mean, come on.
Finally, after more than an hour of all this, the detectives get down to brass tacks.
If we asked you for a DNA swab, would you be willing to give us one?
Maybe. Because now I'm thinking I probably need to talk to a lawyer.
What Lazarus doesn't yet know is that the cops already had her DNA, and it's a match with that bite mark from the crime scene.
I'm shocked. I'm really shocked that somebody would be saying that I did this. I mean, we had a fight, and so I went and killed her. I mean, come on.
Lazarus gets up and walks out of the room. In the hallway, the sound is still rolling as her fellow police officers place her under arrest. Lazarus comes back to the interview room in handcuffs. Her answers now are crisp and cold.
Stephanie, you know you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes.
Anything you say may be used against you in court. Do you understand?
Yes.
In fact, the whole reason this videotaped interview has been made public now is because it's evidence in the murder trial due to start next spring.
Do you want to talk to us right now?
No.
Stephanie Lazarus has pleaded not guilty. If convicted, she could face life behind bars.
I think for everyone's sake, she should probably just stay there. I think the risk is too great to the general public should she ever be released from jail on parole. She'll probably forget where she is and she'll be like, I never had a gun. I didn't shoot anyone. Yeah, she's still got the crazy eyes, right? Even in court, these darting, very focused eyes that seem to pierce through the bars of that wall. It's very odd. Brilliant capture of this wildcat. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Marilyn Landis has it. Good work, Marilyn. All right. I think we're gonna wrap up for the night. I have no idea what's going on here. My cats are running around. I do want to play this. It's got just a few minutes. It's just about them searching Rex's place, and then we'll go for the night.
Beach murder suspect Rex Hewerman's home once again the site of investigators as they search his property.
That's right. It's unclear what they're looking for at this point, but the scene is causing a stir in the neighborhood. A lot of people say they've seen this all before. Good Day's Lizette Nunez is outside the home in Massapequa Park, Long Island, with more. Lizette, any idea what they're looking for?
That's still not clear, Dan. Police are keeping pretty tight-lipped. But yes, this is a scene that is all too familiar for neighbors. They are tired of the police presence and as well as members of the media. But here we are once again. We do know at some point yesterday, the daughter of Rex Hewerman was here at some point. She has since left and is staying elsewhere.
Oh my God, this is all over again. It feels like yesterday this happened.
Neighbors in Massapequa Park feeling a sense of deja vu as police once again descended at the home of accused serial killer Rex Hewerman.
I think this is a surprise to everybody.
The medical examiner remained parked outside of the Red home Monday morning. Investigators raised white tents and could be seen throughout the day with large evidence bags. Police would not say why they're back and what they're looking for.
It's very disruptive. We just want to know why.
Experts say this multi-agency search involving the Gilgo Beach Task Force is likely for something specific. Hewerman's estranged wife, Asa Alarip, and their son are in South Carolina, according to Alarip's attorney. The daughter was at the home when police arrived. The last time detectives were here was 10 months ago. They turned the property inside out and dug up the backyard as they searched for clues tying the accused murderer to the 4 women whose remains were found near Gilgo Beach. Hewerman has already been charged with the deaths of 4 women: Melissa Bartholomew, Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Costello, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Hewerman has been in custody since he was arrested last July and has maintained his innocence.
I just hope they have something to end this thing and put it to rest. And we don't want this in our area, just constantly over and over again coming to search this guy's house, either find.
You know, I feel the neighbor's pain, but at the same time, what do you think about the people who live near the Gilgo Beach and Oak Beach and all that? They literally had the cops out there, what was it, like every 6 months for 2 years, shut down the entire road, had hundreds of police out there searching through the like blackberry thicket, trying to look for more bodies. They go one day, find nothing, come back the next day, find 4 bodies, come back the next day, find another 2. Like, I'm sure you'll be fine, buddy. There's no bodies here that we know of so far, and they're just searching the house. You'll be all right. You don't have to worry. Are they going to find another 5 people today? I mean, the people down on that beach were probably pretty worried when they were doing those searches back in 2011. Yeah, no innocence. If Rex isn't guilty, then he's the most unlucky man alive. Seriously, I think the easiest way you could, you would have to explain how your DNA and your wife's DNA ended up in the satchel bags or whatever they are, where the girls were found. How do you explain that away? Like, what magic wand can you use with your lawyer and defense to be like, X, Y, and Z, that's why my DNA was found on 4 different dead girls. Like I said last night, you could say, oh, I had a whole bunch of Hessian bags that I donated to the local hunting association because I stopped doing camouflaged hunting. So I donated them, and they must have already had my DNA on them. Like, how do you explain the belt that matches a relative of yours initials? And there's just so much more. How do you explain the phone pings? How do you explain the pimp seeing you as one of the last people to see one of the girls alive? There's just so much. There's a lot of evidence, and we don't even know it all at this point. Yeah, the pings alone, the green car, even though the green car is a bit of a red herring, it is a point. It's not the best one, but it is okay. Um, just witness statements. So you got the phone pings, you got the DNA, and there's probably more. We're going to find out more when they go to trial. That's just a little bit they told us in the arrest affidavit. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's going to be more that links him to these 4 girls, and possibly more. So, Potter, is he a good architect or a bad architect? He might be just a good architect who's a bad murderer. You don't know. Yeah, that's right. We should all tell him good luck with that. We should write him a letter. Hey, Brenda. Good to see you, my friend. Yep, have a good night. Yeah, we're going to wrap up here now. It's about just after 3 o'clock local time down here, and I don't have any Lynn trial updates, but I'll get off the air, and like an hour and a half later, there'll be 10 articles with updates from today. So you guys will have to wait till tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern to find out what happened in court today. What's the consensus on his brother being involved? I think there's a fair shot that there might be someone else involved. You would have to prove it out, though, and find some sort of corroborating evidence that you could pin someone else to it. Right now, I think we're very lucky to have at least one person behind bars awaiting trial for a case that a lot of people thought was so mishandled, so bungled, that it was never going to be solved. So I think right now we're in a pretty good position. We can deal with the other stuff later on. Anyway, hey, I love you all. Like I said, on this thing right here, we are racing to 1,000 subs. If you haven't subscribed yet, which apparently, when I look at my statistics, 64% of people who view this channel are not subscribed. And I would appreciate it if you did. Stick around. We do some fun things. And yeah, if you want, you can also support the channel. I don't ask very often. I like to give you as much true crime as I can rather than do that type of thing. Try to give you as many stories every day. But yeah, if you could do either of those things, I would appreciate it. And I will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hey, have a good night, everyone. Be safe out there tomorrow. And to the people in Iowa around that tornado, I hope everything gets a little better for you. That is horrible, the destruction of that town. So hope everyone is okay. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Peace out.